First, they're seniors and disabled, and we're told they had a week to pack up and move out of their homes. We broke this story last night. Today, we went looking for answers. About 50 people who live in Hudson Ridge and Danforth Towers in Rochester fear they will soon be homeless. They were all part of the Enriched Housing Program, which helps care for the elderly and people who are disabled. But that program is going away. So, Deanna, does that mean these folks are being evicted?
Nikki, I talked to the executive director of the Rochester Housing Authority, as well as City Council member Michael Patterson, who represents the Northeast District. Both were abundantly clear. They say residents of Hudson Ridge and Danforth Towers do not have to move. They called any attempt to evict them with a week's notice completely illegal. And who was carrying out this so-called illegal eviction? The New York State Department of Health. Let me explain. A nonprofit called Family Service of Rochester ran the Enriched Housing Program. That nonprofit was hired by the New York State Department of Health. Family Service of Rochester was supposed to take the residents' Social Security and disability checks to pay for their rent, their utilities, and provide other supportive services. Rent was supposed to be paid to the Rochester Housing Authority. But RHA told me today, Family Service is $400,000 behind on the rent. Last week, Family Service said the program was closing, and about 50 senior and disabled residents had to get permission from a medical provider to stay, or they'd have to get out. Today, Councilmember Patterson, who represents those tenants, was fired up.
And so I told all of my tenants, don't go anywhere unless you want to go. There were staff from, I don't know if they were DOH or whoever, they were literally surrounding little old ladies and telling them, you have to leave. And we had to rescue a little old lady from these people. And we told her, no, ma'am, you don't have to go anywhere. Until there's an eviction order, you don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to talk to these people. You don't have to do anything.
So, of course, I went straight to the regional office of the State Department of Health. No one there would talk to me, instead referring me to the department's press team. So I then called the press team of the Department of Health and asked for an interview. They asked me to send them an email. I did just that. I'm still waiting to hear from them. Hopefully, new at 5. I'll let you know what the Department of Health has to say about all this. But the message from the Rochester Housing Authority, the message they want me to deliver to you, loud and clear, they are not evicting these residents, and they do not have to leave.
You know, we have been hitting so many dead ends and brick walls on this story, trying to get answers.
Yeah, it's certainly the ball now is in the Department of Health's court.
All right.
We need to hear from them.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dee.
Sure.
Well, Chief Investigative Reporter Berkeley Breen just spoke to a woman who lives in one of those towers. She's lived there for 12 years. When she spoke with Berkeley, she was still worried about getting kicked out by tomorrow.
Are you worried that you're going to have to move somewhere?
Yes, definitely worried. I don't want to go anywhere. I was going to make this hopefully my last place to live.
You paid your rent on time all the time, is that right?
Yes, sir. Every month.
What has this whole situation done to you emotionally?
Well, I'm pretty upset, and it usually takes a while to get me that way. But I thought everything was, secure here. We all did. None of us knew what was going on. The people, and maybe the people in power knew, but we didn't. We had no inkling at all.
And now you're left holding the bag.
Exactly, for what they did, not for anything that we did.
What a mess. Ruth showed us this letter that she and every other tenant like her received from Family Service Communities just last week. And it warned the program ends this Saturday and provided a list of low-income housing they can move to. Of course, we will continue to follow this. Watch for our coverage throughout the night here on News 10 NBC.